Hi everyone, I'm Dan and welcome to the Space and Earth podcast. Today we're chatting with Broni Lisle. Now Broni is a writer, actor, comedian, educator and songwriter. You can see him performing at the Improv Conspiracy Theatre in Melbourne with teams such as King George and Swing Set. For all of his workshops that he's going to be running with us, please head to spaceandearth.co. Look at this, right? It's quite warm in here for me.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of that happening.
Yeah, just pushing the sweat into the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal with it later.
With a good wash.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got name checked on Barney's podcast, which I appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love a good name check.
It's always interesting, I think, because there are so many different sayings and whatever that pass around. Like you come up with an exercise or you come up with some theory about doing something. And it's always interesting to hear like where that comes from.
Yeah.
When so much of it loses like the paper trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's nice to...
Where did I get it from? That's the question. We're talking show 1 and show 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, but I think I got it from the inner game of music, which is a derivative of the inner game of tennis.
All right, now...
You haven't heard of...
Can you please explain?
Have you haven't heard of the inner game of tennis?
No.
So it's a book about tennis.
Yeah.
But it's the inner game of tennis, which is the mental game of tennis, which is really about being zen.
Yeah.
And it's about there being I'm gonna botch it real bad, but it's about there being two ways that you're approaching tennis. One is like the technical knowledge that you have around it, and the other is the presence that you need to succeed at then trusting your body to do all the right things.
Yeah.
So that's like it's like they don't call it. They obviously don't call it show 1 and show 2. They call it something else in that book, but I think it's derived from there.
I love that we speak to the author who made that, and then it goes back to like, no, actually, it's the inner game of pharmacology, and it's just constant trail, following it around.
Yeah, and eventually it's like that's the Bible.
That's the Bible. Yeah, everything leads back to that.
Yeah, well, that's just a Cain and Abel story.
Yeah. Just repackaged a couple of hundred times, and there we go.
Suddenly we're doing improv.
I do kind of like that though, that the idea of like repackaging things from other sources or other disciplines and things like that to bring in. Because I know you have quite an extensive background in music, and I would imagine that has a lot of things there have like lent themselves across to improv.
Yeah, I got this question a lot when I started improv. Not that question, but like the question of like, does this make you better at music? Or does it serve your music in any way? When I started improv, I was like, it's made me worse at music because I got so in love with like, nothing matters. Just like throw it out, express your feelings in the moment and it'll go into the ether and you're done. And then you shake the show off and you go home. Then I'd try to write a song and I'd be like, these words are permanent. I can't do permanent words anymore. So I stopped writing songs for years when I started improv because I was just like, I'm too in love with just like the ethereal nature of creativity now.
Yeah.
And I got a little too obsessed with that idea, and then found my way back to music after that. So I think performance-wise, I was served a lot by having done 10 years of being on stage. I know the biggest advantage I had when I started improv was when I got on stage, I was way less scared than everyone else I was playing with. And I was never nervous before a show. I was excited, but I wasn't concerned about being up there or anything. So that's where I think I benefited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sort of feel like a lot of times you have someone like performing and then they might be relatively confident on stage as an improviser, and then if they have to sing in a scene or something, it's like, shut down. Oh no, worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I feel like if you're comfortable with that,
it
doesn't instantly make you comfortable with improvising a full scene, but at least you're being vulnerable to maybe a bit more of a level
for sure
on that side.
Yeah, totally. Like, and I was never afraid of dead space or silence or just me being there because I was so used to. I mean, I'd sing sad songs about my life. And no improv show is going to be sadder than some of the stuff I was singing about. So I was like, not really, what can go wrong?
I love the idea that every show afterwards, they're like, Broni, look, it is a comedy show that we're doing here. And there's just a lot of undertones that it goes into.
Yeah, I ended up having to, like, I well, first I had a big identity crisis, which we don't have to get into, but when I returned to music, I had to do it with a different name because I'd done music as Broni forever. Then I did comedy as Broni, and then I didn't know how to tell people, come to my show that isn't funny. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to be sad songs, everybody. That's like, keep your expectations for laughter low because it's sad.
I get that. They see Broni pop up and it's like, oh,
Yeah, he's
the
doing a
funny
show.
guy. He's
Hopefully they think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
going out on a date and it's like, yeah, great. It's so hilarious.
Yeah. I used to have a woman who came to I used to play every Friday at the Wesleyan in Northcote, and there was a woman who was definitely on a Tinder date at the same spot every week with a different date.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it took a few weeks for her to really become conscious that, like, she's sitting across from me every week on a different date, and I know.
Yeah.
And so, like, we'd start to share. I'd be like, oh, like, how's this one? How's this one going? It was a nice little unspoken thing we had together while I serenaded her random dates. I never saw the same man twice, which is not a problem. You got to find the one.
Of course, yeah.
But I always was like, choose a different seat.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Maybe it's just like so comfortable there with you. That was like the calming force.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Everything was like nice, like maintaining as much control as maybe you can in a situation like that.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit there.
Yeah.
For the safe space I was creating.
Yeah,
to search for the one.
Yeah, you're the catalyst of that. That's
yeah, that's nice. That's a nice way of looking at it, Dan. Thank you.
No, I think so. Well, like, you've very I can't see you being a very sort of like intimidating artist performing and playing things.
No.
And I mean that in a good sense of like
No, thank you.
and hearing some of your music too, it's like it's a lot more in my mind anyway, sort of like sit down, relax, listen and like tune in that way than like this guy's just going wild up there.
Yeah. Really demanding our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Those front bar gigs I was mostly, so you can play in the front bar or the back bar of Wesleyan, and they're two very different gigs. One is like sit and listen to me, and the other is basically ignore me and I'll shout out some drink specials.
But did you have to do that as well as part of playing?
I was never obligated, but I did it one time. And then I got a slab of that beer sent to my house.
Oh,
because the bar manager told the rep that there's this one artist who like spruiked the beer, and the guy was like, "Sweet, I'm going to reward that guy." And then so I did it forever after that, and I never got any more.
Okay, then it's like that's your food album that came after that. Like,
Yeah.
just try to get as many things as possible.
Yeah. You did make me think of though. So we joked about talking about basketball on this podcast, and then I thought to myself, I won't talk about basketball. That'd be silly. But then you said what you said before about like things being derived from other disciplines.
Yeah.
I actually do relate a lot of improv to basketball because I love basketball. I'm obsessed with it. And I'm obsessed with improv. I'm obsessed with creativity and just like collaboration, really. There's a great quote. There's a couple of things. There's a great quote from a coach whose name is escaping me, but it's talent sets the floor, but character sets the ceiling.
Okay, yeah.
And I love applying that to like the philosophy around improv, which is like you can be funny and charismatic and enigmatic and lovely to watch, but if you don't have the character to like play along, then like your ceiling as an improviser is only so high. Obviously, I'm not judging your quality as a comedian or a ideas person, but your ability to exist in a long form with another group of creatives is only so high if you don't have the right character or the right philosophy for it, right? And the other thing is, I was listening to this podcast with Malcolm Gladwell, Malcolm Gladwell, and someone else, but it was about basketball. And I think it might have been revisionist history, but he's talking about how you can pull great players. You can pull mediocre players out of mediocre situations, put them in the situation that fits them, and then they look like great players, and then they get traded as great players, and they go and return to being mediocre.
Yeah.
And how like we undervalue fit and like the appropriate person for the job.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true in improv as well. Like I've seen people who thrive in certain shows, but then take them out of that show and put them elsewhere. And if they're relying on the way that they exist in that show, they're not quite hitting the same sort of stuff they hit in that show over there, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel as well in the sporting context, because I follow football, soccer, but
Nice.
quite intensely, and you do get that a lot. There's a lot of rhetoric from fans who, this player's rubbish, they're so bad, they're horrendous. And it's like, they've come from a good club before, and we paid like 20 million pounds for them or something.
Yeah.
And suddenly they are just horrendous and shocking and all that. And like fans at certain, these are quite a toxic section of a fan base. But they like get quite up in arms, and then a player then moves on to another club and they celebrate, and then the player does really well at another club.
Yeah.
And it's that similar sort of thing. And I feel like in sports, we're so used to like having debates over that. Whereas maybe when it comes to sort of improv performing, it's not like you'll go to a show and then jump on Twitter and people are just like, Broni's an overrated performer. No, I think he's really great.
Yeah.
He needs to be in a different scenario. There's not that discussion around it.
Yeah.
But I really do agree that it's like fit is so important for that. And like, what are your strengths as a performer and just a creative in general? And you can put on an incredible show with just the right person that you're performing with.
Totally.
You can do it with someone else, and you could still both be really good performers.
Yeah.
But the fit's just not there, and that doesn't mean you suddenly suck.
Yeah. Totally true. Also, like your ability to trust, ebbs and flows as well. Like if you're having a rough, if maybe the culture is not nice that week or whatever, or the warm up was weird, that means that the fit that night is off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if it's slightly harder to trust you, and I might not even be conscious of the fact that I'm not trusting Dan right now, but maybe it's like something happened in warm up that made me not trust myself. And then that's starting to like cause a feedback loop. And then like I could be doing all the same stuff as usual, but I'm like, there's like something in our chemistry is broken. And like, yeah, so many things can kill us.
Totally. And it could even be such a small thing, like you're worried about some bill you've got to pay, or
Totally.
some external thing that's come in, or kind of had a bad day and you're just struggling to get into that just kind of free state that you normally do so much. So yeah, there's like an exercise I like doing with students of getting them to sort of like assess themselves, like positively, in terms of like pretending you're like it's an RPG and you're a character in that. Yep. And like, here are say 6 skills in improv. How do you rate yourself in these areas? And be confident with it. Because when people first look at it, like one might be, like acting ability. One might be like emotional range. One might be like wit, support, something like that.
Nice.
You could do it for any, metric you wanted.
Yeah.
But then people initially just like, I'll just give myself, I guess, like middle, like 6 for kind of everything. It's like, no, like, what do you think? Where are your strengths in this? And you can only use, say, 40 points over the 6 categories. So you are limited a little bit, which means that you have to go, I'm really good at this, I think. I'm not so good at this, but I'm also not that worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to be like, here is what I'm really strong at.
Yeah.
And just start talking about those things in a positive sense.
Yeah.
Because then I think you're able to look at things and go, oh, yeah, I really like the way that person plays for this reason. And because I like playing with big energy or whatever, it's like you're able to start going, yeah, I think we'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
And think of things in like that sort of term.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that you do that. Giving it a character score and all the attributes is really cool. When I do anything like that, I ban the word think.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what do you think your strongest thing is? And they go, well, I think I'm pretty good at, and then it always softens their like opinion of themselves.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It's just a thought exercise of like, just say I am this.
Definitely.
But my old trio that I was in, Small Car, which was where I met you, we felt like we really lucked out because we think the reason our shows felt easy to do was because like Mario just naturally is a story architect. Like he seems to care about that and is good at it. And he's like always spinning the plates of story. And we always felt that Andrew is like a generator of like he's an unstoppable force of just like this bits ahoy. Like you can't talk to Andrew without him doing a bit, like he's so bitsy. And then I was always good at bringing like emotional context, and like I would reveal why things matter to the characters and things like that. So we always felt like we had three pretty disparate things covered,
Yeah.
and that like they were like working to create a show that was cohesive because those strengths were complementary instead of taking up space of each other. It was like if you look at an equalizer, this is where music is relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like an equalizer wave form or frequencies. None of us like were trying to exist in the same space.
Yeah.
You know, if like Andrew's dealing with the 440 bass, tones, I'm not also trying to exist in there.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes when he comes over and gets emotional, I better shovel some coal into this bits engine. But we always felt like it was just really easy because those roles were so like locked in. And then like, that's actually also where I learned that like, the way that I play in Small Car can't be the way that I play in the remix or something like an Armando show, because they're just different styles and also different teams and different needs. And that's where I became aware that like, you actually have to like care about what the show needs, not I just do Broni stuff.
Yeah.
Because if I just do
Broni again.
yeah, he's doing his Broni stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think I might be wrong, but I think like if you watch me in a remix versus watch me in a swing set, they're two different performers. I'm much more I care much more about being supportive in remix, for example, whereas in swing set I'm like, well, I know that Mario feels my support by virtue of me being here, so I'm just like we know that's intrinsic in the show, so I just try to burn the place to the ground in swing set,
Yeah.
Throw as much as I can at him and know that he'll be like, whereas, remix, I wouldn't do the same thing, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important sort of distinction to make. It's like that even if you do prefer playing in a certain way or you maybe have more fun, if you, I think, can change it up a little bit and have the flexibility, then there can be enjoyment in playing in, a different manner. Like, I feel there's a lot of questions of just like, do you like organic or premise? As if like it's really defining like, that's the only
there has to be
thing
one.
you do and it has to be one of those.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of shows are a combination of all of that.
Yeah.
And like, I'll say like, I prefer shows that are more organic than premise based.
Yeah.
But if you were to be like, I only do this, or I hate this, or I hate this other one, or it really starts like, I think, compressing you as a performer and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Because you become very much like, all right, well, if we're not doing an organic scene here, this sucks, I don't like it. I'm out of here. And suddenly you're not having that much fun with the show and performing with other people who have their own way of playing.
Exactly. And I think that like either or thinking, it really extends to so much like any, like however wide you want to get about career in creativity or whatever. It's like people, I know the same exists for like, you got to stop doing improv and do stand up. And it's like, well, what are your goals? Like, why? Why does it have to be one or the other? Or why do you have to disparage one to raise the other up? Why we, because it's just like, what's suiting you? What are you having fun doing? How can you, like, are you just working to get the best out of the show that you're doing? Cool. Are you trying to be famous right now? Like, what's, it's like, what is the goal? And then therefore that'll help you answer the questions without having to worry about it's either premise or organic, or it's either sketch or improv or stand up or whatever. I remember years ago when I was a teenager, because it was Bernard Fanning on Triple J or something. An interview with Powderfinger, and they're like, any advice for the young musicians out there? And I loved his answer so much. He was like, what worked for me won't work for you. And I was like, yeah,
great.
Like, just carve your path, man. Like,
and they're like, well, this is a 5-minute segment. We fill for something else.
I think he elaborated in like, what's the point in me telling them what I did? I don't have specific advice. Just follow your gut. And because I find that conversation about, for example, stand-up comes up a lot. Like, if you want to make it in this business, you got to be a stand-up, not a improviser. And that assumes I'm trying to make it in this business
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a certain way, like I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I'm living my
Definitely.
dream.
Yeah.
I make a living doing improv.
That's great.
That's good. I'm happy. I'm happy as.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's like there's so many things like just in society life in general which are always like goal focused of this, that, and everything
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And I've always thought like growth over goals is so much more rewarding
For
in
sure.
that
Yeah.
sense. But you do hear just a lot of talk about that of like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this level, then I'm going to get, then I'm going to audition, then I'm going to get on Harold, and then I'm going to get
Yeah.
there, and then I'm
Yeah.
going to get there. And it's
Yeah.
just like these weird kind of like goals setting on something. And then if you achieve a goal like that, it doesn't change anything.
No, it
And
doesn't.
especially in something like improv where like none of it exists past the moment it happens.
Yeah.
So if you're suddenly like,
Yeah.
oh, now I'm on this team, life's,
Yeah.
oh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's not a crowd behind
There's
me. There's
nothing.
no fame gained by this.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really nice reminder of that. Like being content with whatever is happening as successful, as opposed to defining something always in the future as being success.
Totally. I know. I've been around long enough to know in creative industries. If I stop, I've done a lot of improv in my life, and I'm pretty good at it, and I'm a good teacher of it. But if I stopped tomorrow, I'd be forgotten in 2 months.
Yeah.
Like it's like it'd be like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
If that's where you're trying to derive your like joy because of the legacy that you're laying,
Yeah.
it's like wrong. My favorite thing on this topic is that if you know me, you've heard it, but Paul McCartney always felt like the Beatles didn't get as famous as they should have.
Oh, I hadn't heard that, no.
Yeah, so that's a story that Penn Jillette told to Mark Maron. I was listening to Mark Maron's podcast, and Paul McCartney said it to Penn Jillette. And Penn Jillette was like, that's the day I realized there's no goal achievement that's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
It's like you got to enjoy the process of it and the doing of it. And if you're not delighted by getting up there and doing it, then it might be stopping. You might stop.
Yeah.
Maybe stop.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
If it's like, I'll be happy once I'm on a Harold team, I'll be happy. It's like, you won't be.
This is one of those things, to bring it back to your realm of basketball.
Yes, please.
I think there was a quote, like I heard Shaq when he was playing for the Celtics, and there was that documentary they did of that season. I forget. Maybe it was one of the first like Amazon, like what's it called?
30 for 30?
No, it was like where they just basically follow a team for a season or a chunk of a season, and it's all behind the scenes and interviews with players.
Right.
But he was talking about, at that stage, he'd obviously already won a bunch of titles and everything.
Yeah.
So championships.
Yeah.
And he was talking of like that mentality of like, well, like, you come, like you want, maybe you want a lobster dinner, then you have lobster dinner, then you want a bigger lobster dinner next time.
Yeah.
And then you want this, or it's like you want this car, and then you get that car, then you want a bigger car, then you want that. And it was around the same thing of like finding like contentment.
Yeah.
You can still want to push yourself forward in a way,
yeah.
but being like happy with sort of like what is going on and not always just looking forward to like, we need to win this championship, then we need to win that, then after that championship we need to win this and that and everything else. And so it feels like a lot of these like things that really work well, I like that they apply to various realms, whether there is in like sports, entertainment, any other creative sort of thing.
Yeah.
That same like level of thinking.
Yeah.
Really helps.
And also like pursuing new things is important. Like I'm on, because for a basketballer, for example, like I just got to win a championship. And then once you got one, then you're like, okay, well, I'm now in the ranks of people who have won. I better get a second one.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with that, but like, I guess like, why not? Maybe that basketballer should go get an Olympic medal instead, like, because there might be new joy. There's a different type of joy over there representing your country, perhaps. But like you get on Harold Night, for example, such a niche Melbourne specific improv world goal that you've set there. And then like the goal, what does the goal become then? Like, I don't know, some other indie show that gets and then so it's like maybe just enjoy doing improv, and then once you feel like you've got your hang of it, like how does that creativity lend to some other interest or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think that like trying new things
Mm.
I feel like it either does two things. You're either going to find something that you love doing,
Mm.
maybe more than that initial thing,
Mm.
and then you're like, all right, I'm going over here now, which might have been you with, say, music,
Yeah.
and then finding a problem going like, all right, cool, but then still going back to music and
Yeah.
and everything. But it's either you'll find something new that you love doing that'll take up a part of your time as well,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll be able to learn something from that which will just enrich
Totally
what you're doing in, say, your home discipline. Not that that's the only thing you do, but you
Mm.
still might try something new and be like, not for me, but I really enjoyed this aspect of it, which I
Mm.
learned something from.
Mm.
And how can I actually integrate that into performing and like
Mm.
in that sense? Like I always find it when it comes to sort of like any improv related things, I'll always get ideas, especially say for coming up with exercises.
Yeah.
They are always like as far, well, not as far away as possible from improv, but outside of improv realms. Like
Yeah.
it'll be like watching a movie, or it'll be like seeing a musical at a theater, like
Totally.
something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a good exercise idea. Like better
Yes.
just like note that down.
Yeah.
And all that stuff sort of coming in from all those ways. So I've always found that helps so much
Mm.
to just like widen that net of where all the stimuli is coming from.
For sure. I'm teaching the Move with Meaning workshop with you. And like I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to achieve with that workshop. But then randomly last week I was watching Seinfeld, just season 2 episode something. And I noted down the episode and the timestamp because there was just the perfect example of what I mean with the workshop. And I was just like, yeah, just that stuff sort of happens serendipitously, and like you never know when the inspiration's going to spark. And I mean, Seinfeld is not a new piece of media that I was enjoying, but like just continually like taking your eye off the prize every now and then is going to help you like expand your understanding of the prize. I think there's that Amy Poehler thing of like she stopped trying to be famous and then she suddenly got famous, but I think that that applies to so many things. You stop trying to do, like, you agonize over this one thing, but if actually you take a break from it, and you go like, oh, actually, I know what to do with this thing right now. Even if it was, I just took a nap, or you could play a video game, or I struggle with that. So I know that the thing that I just said, I know that that's true. That you should take a break and come back to it, and you'll come back fresh, or you might find the answer somewhere else. But I just said play a video game, and I wish I could allow myself to do that.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like the middle of the day, and I'm like, I can't solve this, but I'll never let myself play a video game because I have some self-flagellation problem where it's like, I should scold myself for wanting to play video games.
Like that's a naughty thing to do?
Yeah. It's unproductive. Even though I know like what I just said is true. Take a break, and I'll probably find the answer while I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
Because I'll zen out or something and I'll form a new understanding. But that's the one thing I can't allow for some reason. What is that, Dan? Can you help?
I don't know. It makes me think of like, maybe it feels like just a made up reason for doing something that a teenager would say to their parent. Of like,
it does.
You're doing your homework? Like, no, I've got to play FIFA for a little bit. And like, it's helping me with my maths.
Yeah, I'm sort of doing my homework.
I'm sort of doing it. I'm going to get there. I just need this input to come in. So like, there's something.
It does sound like that.
Yeah. But I totally get that. Like the feeling of, especially when you feel mentally you've got like a lot of things to do, that you just think like, all right, is it better for me to just try and go through this list of things I'm trying to get done, and just do them to whatever level now? You always end up getting really tired by the end of it, or taking that break, and then it just completely like you have a moment where you're like, oh, hang on, I've been thinking about this all in the completely other way around, and this is going to make things so much easier. Yeah, but I do get that like it can be challenging to when you think you need to be productive, to push back on that a bit and go, no, what I actually need now is a bit more space. I need to remove things, and that will actually help me be more productive. When I come back to it. Rather than just sort of like just going through the mud constantly.
Totally. Yeah. It's like if I spend a day writing, it's 15 minutes of writing, and it's all like making a coffee and dragging my feet through the house. Yeah. Taking the dogs for a walk. And then it's like, all of that allowed me to write for 15 minutes, you know? Yeah. Because I always feel like I'll achieve the same if I sit and stare at it. I'll also only get 15 minutes out
Yeah.
because my brain's mush
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I can't sort my thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have the same thing with other like creative / relaxing things? So what I mean by that is if video games that's the sort of naughty thing which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah. Until
What about
nighttime,
like
I can at nighttime.
you can at nighttime?
Yeah.
You've got that little window where you're
Yeah, a
allowed.
tiny window. Yeah.
Or does that also extend to say watching like TV shows, watching movies, or like maybe listening to music just to really listen to it, not to actually use it as a background for something else? Like, is it all sort of things like that? You're like, you sort of push away in lieu of like that productive, sort of like, I guess that magnetism towards having to be productive?
Yeah, but it is a thing I hate about myself. I don't feel good about this answer, but yeah, I won't let myself watch a TV show until like after 7.
Yeah.
And then also like I'll feel dirty if I don't feel like I achieved anything that day. And achieve. So this is where I have an unhealthy relationship with creativity. Achieve is like I could have done a whole day of work, but if I didn't like chip away at that chorus I've been thinking about for a song, I haven't achieved anything that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though like I've done all my business,
Yeah.
but like I don't feel like I've creatively achieved, and I think that's like how I fill my cup. So I feel like I'm betraying myself if I don't allow just a moment of like something to work. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like if you have a lot of days where I don't feel like I achieve something creatively, then it like sort of I start to go like, oh, I need a day to like just create, you know.
Yeah.
And then that day where I'm just creating is sitting there staring at a screen. It's crazy.
No, I understand that. Like the panic rises. It's like as time goes on because you're like,
Yeah.
well, technically I've spent 5 days doing this thing,
Yeah.
but I haven't got there yet.
Totally.
So now, all right, today I'm going to get through all of it. And I just feel like, I'm sure a psychologist will be able to explain this a lot better, but I feel like creatively that is never going to really produce like the best results.
Yeah.
Or I'm not even looking at the best results, but it's not going to have like this healthy relationship to creating that makes it fun
Yeah.
and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like people always talk about like, you know, like like pressure creates diamonds or whatever it is of like, you know, getting into those pressure situations and then doing things. And I think like to some extent, if you get into a pressure situation, you'll do something and it will work out, sure.
Yeah.
But like if you're always just relying on creating those like pressure chambers, it's almost like a really unhealthy situation to put yourself in of like, I have to be in that situation to do work, or thinking like I do my best work when I am under pressure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in the past, I created financial pressure chambers by like booking the most expensive studio in Melbourne and being like, we're doing 3 days there, boys. And not being ready for that. And then like doing stuff that I'm like, I used to be really proud of, and I've over time gotten like, oh, it's okay. Like I'm semi proud of it, but like, I don't think it's my best songwriting or whatever. And it's like, I tried to do it the way that I know that other people do it, you know, like book the time, rehearse the songs, go for it.
Yeah.
But then I think my best songwriting has come from like the day that I went on a songwriting camp, and one of the guys from the Milk Carton Kids was like, have you reconciled with the fact that music is your hobby now? Because it used to be my career before I got obsessed with improv. And I was like, no. And he was like, it's your hobby, man. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. I hadn't thought about that. And as soon as music became my hobby, I was like, fucking, it's so much more zen now. It's fun again.
Pressure's all gone.
Oh, it's all gone.
Yeah.
I don't have to write a good song. I just got to write a song for me, for fun. And then what falls out is a better song than I'd ever written, you know? So yeah, removing that pressure of it being anything allowed it to be the best it could have been.
Yeah.
Or I just look at it with rose-colored glasses now. It's like, oh, I feel nicer. So, I mean, either way, that's a better song because I feel nicer about it. So,
yeah, but I think it's there's definitely something to this of like,
yeah.
And if we're talking about growth over goals and all that sort of stuff, like even if you set those small goals, and I know some people love setting goals and that's it, but like if you were saying like, I have to get this chorus done tomorrow, I have to do that. It's like the chorus might take longer, and Yeah, it might.
Yeah.
It's never. I just think it's really a really detrimental approach, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe hard to break away from that because
Yeah.
if you go and you're like working any other sort of job,
Yeah.
there's always going to be like a deadline to do this, to do that, to do anything else. Like I've done a
Yeah.
lot of design work in the past, and
Yeah.
you're always operating with deadlines. And I understand the importance in those scenarios of deadlines being important
Mm-hmm.
because you need to get the project out,
Mm,
and it's better to get that out at 50, 60%, 70%,
totally.
and then improve it over time
Yeah.
rather than trying to say perfect it and make it incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like as long as you're not chasing perfection
Yeah.
whilst be willing to take time with it,
Yeah.
I think that is like the healthiest little middle ground to find yourself in there.
Yeah. And also, yeah, no one's waiting for my next song. So
Yeah.
chill out.
Yeah.
You know? And I always find like my best work happens when I have no time for it. This is maybe a counter to what we're saying. Maybe not. But like that chorus, for example, to keep stretching that metaphor, like it'll come to me when like I got to get to a wedding and I was supposed to leave at 12 and it's 11:50.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I got 10 minutes to have a strum. And then like, uh-oh, it's happening. The song's happening. It's
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
And then you're like, quick. And you like gotta record it or write it down or whatever. It's like when you're not expecting it or not trying to achieve it is when it's like, oh, you know that idea you've been gestating on that you didn't realize you were gestating on when you were allowing yourself to play some Zelda?
Yeah.
It's all come together in this moment right here.
Yeah, I think that fits into everything because
Yeah.
that's the difference between doing that and sitting down and going, I've got to go off to this wedding. I've got
Exactly.
10 minutes. I need to finish this chorus.
That's so true. Yeah, I picked the guitar up not to finish that chorus, but to kill 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just so happened my brain was like, okay.
Your brain's like, all right, let's rumble. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
You want to kill time? Let's fucking kill it in the best way possible. Whereas sometimes I'm like, let's make a hit. And your brain's like, no, thanks.
Yeah.
I'd rather kill time.
Not happening today.
Yeah.
Speaking of a lot of the sort of musical references, you've just got back sort of recently from the Catskills, is it?
Yes.
Which you've been to a couple of times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Now, for someone who is not that well versed on anything about what that sort of means, my sort of idea of it is that it's like a small sort of mecca of songwriting and creativity in that sense. But I'd love to hear like more about what that actually is and like what your experiences are there.
Okay, so my experience is the best. So it's not quite a mecca of songwriting. That's a lovely term. I wish it was that.
It's so foggy in my mind of like, what could this place be? But
yeah. So
maybe
it's just a resort where they host. I think the resort's used for weddings and all sorts of things. But there is a company called Music Masters Collective who like they host artists there, who then host their own camp where their fans or whatever their community come and work with them.
Okay, right, yeah.
And so I do it with the Milk Carton Kids, which is a folk band from the States, from LA. And I met them. I opened for them in 2011 as a peer.
Yep.
And then swiftly they like got on the cover of Rolling Stone, and I came home and did some improv.
Yeah.
So our careers sort of, took very different paths. And by the time I was on their camp, they were, stars. I mean, relative to me. I'm sure many people listening to this don't know who they are. But they announced this camp. I knew them as lovely guys who I met that night. So I was like, I'll go. And I'd loved their music. I didn't know what to expect really the first year, which was 2019 that I went. And they invite like 3 or 4 other artists. And then the daytimes are spent you meet like between 40 and 70 people who are all there to do the camp. And it's just workshops during the day and jamming and writing, and like any spare time you have, you're either like jamming or helping someone write their song or writing your own song or like working on a harmony for someone's song or whatever. And then they just do these like 90-minute either lectures or workshops or whatever. And the first year they're like, this is how you write a song. And then the second year, thankfully, they recognized a lot of people had come back. I mean, I knew how to write a song, but I loved hearing their their way in.
Mm.
The second year, like their how to write a song had evolved a little bit, and then the third year I went, they gave a lot of different sort of stimulus to get songwriting. And they have like lyric sessions and poetry sessions and like stage presence sessions and all sorts of different things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
mostly the experience is like meeting people who are there to do one thing, which is write one song that week. So you're all just trying to write one song. And the coolest thing about it is like when you do get into the mud of your own song, you can just walk. You can either go on a beautiful walk through the Catskills mountains and there's a little stream and it's lovely, or you can wander to someone else who's working on a song who's probably in the mud as well, and you can be like, "What do you got?" And they show you, and you can be like, "Thought about this," and they go like, "Oh, cool," and then you can walk away and they can come do the same thing for you, and it's the best.
Yeah, right. So it's really like a really collaborative environment of that.
Yeah, and I had two. The first two were really profound for me. The first one, my dad had recently had a stroke, and I knew I wanted to write about him because one of the things was like, what's, when it gets quiet, what do you think of? And I was like, at the time, I was like, my dad. And they're like, let's write a song about that this week. And I sat down with Kenneth, one of the guys from Milk Carton Kids, and he just helped me unlock what the song was, and then helped me like find it. It was really emotional because like I was obviously emotional about my dad, and then he was just so thoughtful and caring and compassionate and loving, and sat with me while I went through this song with him. That was also when he was like, "Music's your hobby, by the way."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thank you, thank you for that permission to not wrap my whole identity up in my music anymore." Because like sidebar, when I started improv, Adam Kangas, who runs TIC, he was like, if you had to choose between music and improv, which would it be? And I was like, music.
Yeah.
You idiot. And then it started to flip, and I was like, I actually don't know what I love. And then so finding out that this was my hobby was a lovely thing because it made me love music again without it being wrapped up in like who I am.
Yeah. And then just on that, does that mean as well, like if you were sort of creating a song, then you're not trying to encapsulate your whole personality within that?
Yeah. And I'm also not worried about what this says about me.
Yeah.
As much as I used to be. Yeah. And I've written songs now that like, might offend my parents when I never would have done that in the past.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care now because it's like, it's not really, it could be me. It might not be me. Like, I don't know. It's just a song about stuff.
Yeah.
And you can interpret it however you want. And I don't feel like as emotionally like tied in it.
Yeah.
And then the second time, a friend had passed away that he was the guy who used to book my favorite venue in San Diego, and I'd played there like maybe 50 times, and I loved it. And it was also where I met all my American friends, was this venue in San Diego.
Is this what you did a Fringe or conference show about once?
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, so the guy, one of the characters from that show, he passed away like right before the second camp. And I felt so gross that the first thought I had when he passed away, I loved the guy, he was awesome. But the first thought I had was, it's going to be really hard to play in San Diego now. And I was like so mad at myself for having that thought as the first thought. And then Joey, the other guy from the Milk Carton Kids, I told him that story. And he was like, that's the name of the song. And I was like, but that's the bit I'm ashamed of that I want to like write through.
Yeah.
He's like, no, but it's hard for more reasons than just he booked you there. It's hard to play there because he created a community there. And like, it's hard to see your friends there now because he was so tied in that. And I was oh yeah, fuck. And it was just like such a nice, he just gave me a different perspective on the song, and I can still say the words. It's hard to play in San Diego now. I'm still exercising that demon out of me, but now it's in a positive way. It's like, it's hard to play because you created such a nice place for everyone and you're gone. And therefore that community and that safe space for all those musicians is gone.
Yeah. So is that looking at it like, instead of going, I've had this thought that's shameful, how egotistical of me to think that, oh no, I'm going to just bury this and put it into the background. It's like, what does that actually mean? Why is that?
Yeah.
And how can I really sort of express that dropping that sort of judgment of like, is this too personal? Is this like, will people think I'm an asshole for saying this thing? Like,
Well, it was
those sort of things.
I wanted to write a song about my shame and how shameful it was, and really like, you know, what a piece of shit this guy is, you know, and like, and come at it from that angle. But his point was like, no, you should write about all the reasons why he made that place so good to play in. And if you write about all the good things about Lou, then you're both honoring him and also dealing with that shame that you had about it. Because you're still singing that refrain of like, it's harder to play in San Diego now. What an asshole. But actually now I'm saying it about this guy who was so special. And here are all the reasons why you're special.
And it's something that applies to everyone in that community.
Yes.
Rather than a message which just applies to yourself.
Yeah.
Going through it.
Exactly. So it ended up being a song about like the venue and him. And his dog, because the dog would walk around the venue whilst you played. And now it's like a nice, I haven't recorded it or anything, but for me it's just a nice tribute to him, and I no longer feel shame for that for that thought I had when he passed away. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that's why the camp is so profound and cool, and you don't need drugs to have a great time. You know what I mean? That's
great, like a little button at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to be clear, we don't do drugs
kids,
there.
Yeah, we don't do drugs there. It's no ayahuasca camp.
It's nice and just relaxed without that. It sounds like a really, really lovely sort of experience to be able to have and to be able to keep going back to, and also sounding like when you go back, you're getting different things out of it.
Yeah.
Both by the workshops obviously being slightly different and that.
Yeah.
But also depending on what's happening in your life at that time, not always trying to go and do the same thing. Like using like, well, this has happened to me. Like I'm different now than I was a week ago. I'm going to be different in a week's time. And just embracing like whatever you're feeling at that moment.
Totally.
And using that to create something rather than like, I guess what you said of like worrying about, does this encapsulate my brand?
Exactly.
For like, for everyone, like what are people going to think if this song sounds so different to something I made before?
It's also, grandma's lasagna. I don't know if that's a me thing or if that exists.
I've heard the name, but it might be from hearing you say it.
Maybe it's from me. But the idea of grandma's lasagna is like, grandma makes a great lasagna and you're like, that lasagna is so good. But not even grandma can even live up to her own lasagna from the first time you had it. You go in search of grandma's lasagna for the rest of your life. But that's something not even she could live up to. So like it's a like a false pursuit or whatever you call it. And I think like if I had gone into camp the second time hoping to have another songwriting session one-on-one with Kenneth, where we write about my dad and like I cry in front of him, you know, like if I went there trying to get that, I never would have got that. But I went there just like as a different, like things are different in my life now. There's a different thing. I want to just approach it in a different way. I'm going there to think about my shame this time. Yeah. And then I never expected it to be profound or like as life-changing as the first time. I was like, there's no way it will be because that's grandma's lasagna. But then because I just took my eye off that prize, I got a totally new dish from grandma.
Yeah.
I got grandma's peach cobbler.
Yeah.
Which is delicious.
Equally delicious to you.
Yeah. A nice new experience.
Yeah.
In a similar place, which is grandma's kitchen.
Yeah. I just got this picture of you just being over there and everything relating to grandma's thing there. Bro, just write a song about grandma. If we need to get this out now.
Yeah. Conversely, every time my grandma sees me, it's for the first time.
Yeah.
Because we're losing it.
Yeah. That's sad, yeah.
No, I mean, that's true, but I shouldn't have ended on such a morbid joke.
No.
It's about my sweet Omar.
It's totally fine.
And you're like, I don't know how to deal with that.
How are we going to move on from this one?
Yeah. You got to laugh, Dan.
No, you have to.
Life comes at you fast.
Oh, no, definitely. I think what this all just sort of speaks to me there is that, yeah, it's like instead of, like when you're going over to do these things, and it would apply to anything, like when you're getting up to do a show at the end of the week, whether you're doing whatever, it's like not worrying about like, what have you achieved recently? What are you doing? All those things, like, what am I going to tell people about that they're going to be impressed with?
Yeah.
But to reduce it to very kind of like, you know, I guess basic messages in a sense of just being very comfortable, like just toddling along and like creating things, and you catch up with someone. It's like, you don't have to like big up something that's happened, or you don't have to like hide some shameful thing you're doing.
Yeah.
And when you're creating things, you don't have to do that as well. Like,
Yeah.
like if you do see a friend who you trust, you're not going to sort of hide all these emotions and things
Totally.
like that. You're going to talk about it.
Totally.
And then I think having that relationship with your creative work
Yeah.
is just a really nice sort of healthy way
Yeah.
to be as well, where it's not hiding your personality. You're trying to like use that and just draw what you can out of it.
And you got to be content with the toddle.
Yeah.
But I guess my closing message that I actually was saying to Millie recently, I like to think that seventh gets you wine, and I'll explain that. But I came seventh once in a national songwriting competition, and obviously I was devastated to come seventh.
Yeah.
And my drummer, Easy, he brings over a bottle of wine, and he was like, "You should celebrate seventh." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I should, shouldn't I? Seventh is pretty good."
Yeah.
in like a national competition, that's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's really good.
And so like my seventh gets you wine point is like there are wins of all different sizes, and if you can recognize that, like, sometimes just doing the thing is the win, like getting the chorus done or getting through a show when you were having a bad week and you're like, I'll still try to go do the show, and then getting that show done, that's worth celebrating. Because if you don't celebrate those tiny things, and because you're like withholding to celebrate the bigs, those bigs are so few and far between, then you'll just kill yourself. You'll kill yourself trying to get them, you know? You won't kill yourself because you don't get them. I mean, like,
No, instead
you'll exhaust your resources trying to achieve them.
Yeah, and that'll become the focus.
Yeah.
And again, far more detrimental.
Totally.
And it doesn't become fun.
And then it's not worth it when you get them. You're like, okay, I got it. What's the next one? Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. If you'd like to see our upcoming workshops or join our online community at our Discord server, please head to spaceandearth.co.